Hello friends, in today's video I'll be sharing with you 15 book recommendations to cozy up with this season. So grab yourself a warm cup of coffee or tea, snuggle under a blanket and let's chat about books to put you in a mood for fall. Welcome to my channel, my name's Carol and I am so excited for today's video because we're talking all things fall book recommendations. Honestly, I feel my most authentic self in autumn. I think fall is every reader's favorite season. You get to curl up in a corner with a warm blanket, a hot drink, dim lights, and maybe a cozy ambience in the background. There's just magic in this season. Before we dive in, here's a quick look to the categories that we are going to be exploring in today's books recommendation. So the first one is going to be Burn, Witch Baby Burn, aka witchy books. So basically these is books full of magic and spells and witches. The next category is Hot Apple Cider, and this is for the whimsical reads, cozy and heartwarming. Next one is Knife in the Pumpkin, aka cozy mysteries. Fourth category is going to be Tales from the Crypt / Monster Mash, and this one is for all the supernatural kind of spooky horror vibes. And last but not least, we have Spooky and Moody. So these are all the books that are dripping autumn vibe but are like in the spookier side. Think of it as Halloween Town kind of campy vibe. So let's get started. So the first book in the Burn Witch Baby Burn category I consider to be the ultimate witch book, and that is Lufuth by Brom. This one is a historical fiction horror set in Connecticut during the witch trials by the end of the 17th century, and it follows Agatha, who after her husband's death is completely alone and vulnerable in a town that won't let her handle his state just because he's a woman. She ends up finding help in a creature that the villagers call Slewfuth, the devil, the demon, and together they fight back the townspeople in a battle for power and ownership. I recommend this one if you like stories with very strong female main characters fighting for what's theirs. This one is for readers who want something dark, empowering, and just October vibes. And believe me, this one is not as terrifying as it looks. It's actually really cozy at times in its own way, and you will find yourself rooting for the witch and the demon in a way that you could have never expected. All right, so moving on, we have The XX by Erin Sterling. Now, hear me out. I gave this book 3 stars. The reason why I wanted to include it in these book recommendations is because although it's a very silly small town romance with some magic sprinkled in, and it's not very well written because, let's face it, this book is not well written. The tension between the love interests is just not good. I didn't like the romance. However, the reason why I still will recommend it is because this book is perfect for fall. It is dripping that fall atmosphere. I really think that this book has everything you want in a fall book. So this story follows Bibian Jones, a witch who drunkenly curses her ex-boyfriend because he broke her heart. And now, many years after, Reese Penhallow, the ex-boyfriend, is back to town, and then a lot of shenanigans start happening once he comes back. Talking about living toys, ghosts, haunted libraries, even talking cats. I really recommend this one if you want Gilmore Girls style, small town enchantment, but you also want practical magic vibes. Yeah, I will give this one a 5 out of 5 in terms of atmosphere. There are fall festivals, there is magic, there are cute little shops, and really this book is everything for fall. All right, so the next book in the witchy category, we have a middle grade, and that is The Collector. I know that this book is not going to be for everyone because it has the simplest writing I have ever read, even for a middle grade. But the reason why I think this one is really good is because the story, it's good. The atmosphere is really eerie, really spooky, really dark. In this one, we are following Jessie and her sister who move with her grandmother. But visiting their grandmother is a thing, but living with her is a whole different situation going on. Like, she's kind and she's nice, but she has 3 very strange rules in the house. They are: never leave your windows open after dark, no dolls in the house, and never ever go by the house in the woods. So Josie tries to follow the rules until she meets Vanessa at her school. Vanessa is the only person who approaches her and is like, oh hey, let's be friends. So when Vanessa asked Josie to visit her house, that is, surprise surprise, the house in the woods, Josie doesn't say no. And that's when everything starts derailing. I really think this story is really good. It even made me cry. And I know the writing is way too simple and it might take some people out of the story, but if you are able to surpass that, I really think the story is really cute, spooky, atmospheric. I will give this one a 5 out of 5. All right, so moving on to the hot apple cider category. The first book in the category is Ravenfall by Kaylin Josephson. This one is a whimsical fantasy middle grade set around a magical inn and a family with psychic powers. We follow Annabella Valenti, a 13-year-old girl who feels her gift it's useful so she can foresee death. When a 14-year-old kid named Colin arrives searching for his missing brother, she will realize that there is a very dark creature after him. And this creature that is after Colin will do something horrible if it's not stopped before Halloween night. So both Colin and Annabella will have to start this journey to uncover the truth behind this creature and Colin's brother disappearance, so they can stop this creature before Halloween night and before it's too late for everybody. I definitely think this book is for people who want a magical inn with black cats and magic and, most importantly, found family. What I love the most about this book is how it blends cozy and creepy seamlessly, making it perfect for fall. Moving on, we have a book that I was hesitant to recommend because in my head, I think that everybody has read it, but it was very difficult for me to find more books in the cozy side because I tend to read more spooky books for this time of the year. But the next book is going to be Legends and Lattice by Travis Baldree. This is another book that I gave 3 stars, and yet I'm recommending it because I definitely think that although at the end it's not a perfect 5, the atmosphere, not necessarily the atmosphere, but the cozy vibes are still there. In this one, we follow Viv, who is an orc that leaves behind a life of adventure and fighting and bloodshed because she wants to settle down in a town and open her own coffee shop. This one is sweet. This one is it's about making friends. It's about introducing a bunch of creatures who don't know what coffee is to that magical drink. My main issue with this book though is that it's a little bit repetitive, but if you don't mind that, the coziest of all. Really, really good. In terms of atmosphere, I will give this one a 3. The third book that I'm going to recommend in this category is The Girl Who Drank the Moon by Kelly Barhill. And this one is whimsical. It's really cozy. It's really atmospheric. And it's about a little girl who is mistakenly infused with a huge power when she is a baby. And then basically her entire childhood is her trying to learn how to control that power and trying, I don't know how to say this without giving any spoilers. But basically, well, yeah, trying to control her power so she doesn't hurt the people she loves because she is so powerful. And it's not good for a little girl to have all these power because they don't know how to control themselves. So this one is really, really whimsical. If you like enchanting stories that are whimsical, comforting at the same time, and with a little bit of tension and a little bit of mystery because there's some mystery regarding her past and all that, I think this one is definitely for you. This one is atmospheric, magical, and perfect for a cozy reading session. So go for it. All right, so next up we have one of my favorite categories of books to read during autumn, and that is cozy mysteries. So the first book that I want to recommend for this category is Agatha Christie's Halloween Party. This one opens at a children's Halloween party. As they are sharing spooky stories, one girl claims she once witnessed a murder that she didn't realize at the time. Everyone thinks she's lying. Like, she has a fame that she's a liar and nobody believes her. Nobody really thinks what she's saying is truth. Then everyone will have to swallow their words when they find her dead. Hercule Poirot is brought in to investigate not only this little girl's murder, but the one that she says things she witnessed and the reason why she was killed. This one is not one of Agatha Christie's finest works, but I still think it's a good one to be read during October. And it has a little bit of that English kind of countryside vibe for Chris Bottom Line. So I think this one is still worth reading. The next book in a cozy mystery category is actually not even a cozy mystery, but it's a book that is cozy and it happens to have murder in it. And that is Murder Your Employer by Rupert Holmes. That book is pure fun. We follow a man who, after failing to kill his boss, he discovers the McMaster's Conservatory. And basically this is an Ivy League style college that teaches the art of eliminating, as they call it, people who deserve it. This one is dark, witty, and full of humor about getting away with murder. I recommend this one if you're looking for a clever, tongue-in-cheek mystery. It's for readers who enjoy dark comedy, sharp writing, and quirky quotes. What I love the most about this one is how original it felt. I only wish there was a series for that book, like it was an entire series, because I would read so much more of that writing and those characters. So moving on, in the Knife and the Pumpkin category, we have a middle grade, a cozy mystery middle grade. And that is The Body Under the Piano. This is the first installment in the Aggie Morton Mystery Queen series, and I love this one. If you haven't read middle grades yet, you are missing out. I just consider middle grades to be the best books that you can pick up for autumn because they are amazing. They have like this magic. They can blend spooky and atmosphere, but they can blend in coziness as well, and everything is interwoven and perfect books. And this one is one of them. Because it's a murder mystery, it feels a little morbid for the audience, but it's still cozy and it still has found family and themes of friendship and that kind of stuff. And I love it. This one is a chef's kiss. Well, this series is actually inspired by Agatha Christie. So basically our main character that we're following, who is Aggie Morton, is 12-year-old Agatha Christie. Isn't that amazing? In this one, Aggie Morton is a 12-year-old with a very weird fascination for crime and death and all of the weird stuff. So when she finds a body under the piano in her music classroom, she and her friend Hector Perrot, inspired obviously by Hercule Poirot, decide to solve the mystery themselves. I definitely recommend this one if you like cozy mysteries and you just want to have like a fun little book to spend an afternoon. This one is really good. I will give this one 5 out of 5. It's really atmospheric. It actually takes place in November, I think. So that one is really good. The next category is the Monster Mash / Tales from the Crypt, aka books about monsters. And for the first book, I wanted to recommend House of Hunger by Alexis Henderson. This one is a more recent book that I read, and I gave this one 6 out of 5 stars. A contender for my top 10 books of the year, if not for my top 5. This one is a gothic historical horror set in a world where the wealthy hire bloodmaids to drink their blood, believing it keeps them healthy and young and all that. We follow Marion Shaw, who enters this dark world of the bloodmaids and become a bloodmaid herself. And then she realized that nothing is as it seems. Nothing is as shiny as people think it is. So there are a bunch of secrets behind the whole bloodmaid situation. I really recommend this one if you want something gothic and unsettling. Why did I add this one to the Monster Mash? And it's because this one is basically about vampires. They are not vampires. They're just regular people who happen to drink blood, but is evolving around the idea of vampires. And I really find it fascinating. So that's that. So moving on, we have a book about ghosts. Are ghosts monsters? Technically no, but I want them to be. So moving on, we have The Haunting of Hill House by the one and only Shirley Jackson. This book was first published in 1959 and is one of the most recommended books for autumn by a lot of people because it's extremely unsettling. So in this one, we follow a group of people who are brought together by this guy called Dr. Montague, an occult scholar who is trying to prove the existence or inexistence of ghosts. So basically they decide to stay at this mansion. The Hill House is known by the villagers to be extremely haunted. What unfolds is a chilling psychological spiral situation. I recommend this one if you really want to experience one of the most influential haunted houses books. Just know that the horror in this one is not, it's basically between the lines. Like, it's more in the psychological field than jump scares. That's why it's so unsettling, because nothing is really said. You are left to imagine yourself what's happening. What I love the most about this one is how eerie and disorienting it feels. So this one is a 5 out of 5 in terms of atmosphere. It's more like in the dark, eerie atmosphere. But again, atmosphere all the same. So moving on, we have a book that, this one is horrifying. Take this recommendation as a grain of salt, because this one is really disturbing, and that is Dark Harvest by Norman Partridge. So this is a tiny novella, but oh boy, how disturbing it is. So this one takes place on Halloween night in 1963 in a small Midwestern town. Every year, teenagers must hunt this dark nightmare creature called the October Boy. He is basically a pumpkin-headed creature that lurks in the corn maze, and he carries a knife. Whoever gets to kill the October Boy will win a prize and will leave the town. At the end of the day, that's everybody's wish in this town. They all want to leave. We don't know why they don't leave, but they all want to leave. They are all desperate to leave, but they cannot. So the prize is a very, very good amount of money and the freedom to go wherever they want. Now, this one feels like The Hunger Games meets James Wan horror films. Is it James Wan though? I think so. I'm a little... Anyway, so this is The Hunger Games meets James Wan film. What I loved about this book is how in like the intensity and the originality of it. Although it was a little bit more disturbing than I expected. Definitely recommend this one if you're looking for something short that you could be horrified by. This one is. Moving on, we have The September House by Carissa Orlando. The September House is a haunted house story. It's an adult horror book, and it leans a little bit more into the campy side. In this one, we follow Margaret, who finally buys the house of her dreams. It's a Victorian home, but unfortunately, what she wasn't prepared when she bought it is for the fact that every September, the walls drip with blood. So not only the walls drip blood, but ghosts wander the halls and something lurks in the basement. Her husband flees, okay? He doesn't want to be part of this anymore, but Margaret stays. She refuses to lose the house of her dreams, her home. So when her daughter visits her, because she's like, hey, I don't know where that is, and she wants to investigate further what happened to him, because he's not taking any calls, he's not answering calls, he's not texting back or anything like that. Then, since she doesn't know what's happening in the house, Margaret will have to hide everything to her. She will have to clean the blood before her daughter sees it, and it's going to be crazy. It's going to be a wild ride. When the daughter shows up unaware of the hauntings, things escalate pretty quickly. I recommend this one if you want something spooky but also fun. Think of it as if this one was a Grady Hendrix book. It's for readers who like horror, but balanced with a little bit of humor and more in the campy side. This one is less about cozy atmosphere, but more about the campy horror. All right, so moving on with our spooky and moody, we have in this category books that they are spooky, but they are fun. We have The Haunting of Evelyn Jones by Phil Hikes, but by Phil, by our friend Phil. So The Haunting of Evelyn Jones, I think it's one of the best books that you can ever get to read during autumn. I am obsessed. This is one of the best, of the most atmospheric books. I think this one doesn't even deserve to be a 5 out of 5 in terms of atmosphere, but this one in my leaf scale is a 6 out of 5. In this one, we follow Evelyn. Evelyn discovers a very, very old book of ghost stories that belong to a girl named Primrose Pickerfield, who mysteriously disappeared. With the help of her new friend, Harold, Eveline starts digging, starts investigating because she starts seeing some things that she doesn't want to see. And she thinks that whatever happened to Primrose might be happening to her as well. I really recommend this one if you're looking for an autumn read that feels both spooky but cozy. For readers who really enjoy eerie towns, creepy scarecrows, because the book is filled with creepy scarecrows, and stormy nights. So for the last book, we have one that is really similar to The Haunting of Eveline Jones. And I read that one very recently. I think it might end up being in my top 10 books of the year. And that one is The Girl in White by Lindsay Curry. So again, the exact same vibe of The Haunting of Eveline Jones. In this one, we follow Mallory, who moves to Eastport, and who is a town completely obsessed with Halloween and witches and all that all year long. Think of it as if it was Halloween Town meets Salem. But they have so many legends, and the most legend of the town is Sweet Molly. At first, she completely dismisses these legends. She's like, everybody in this town is crazy, I'm not gonna believe them. But when she encounters a figure from her nightmares, I mean, she has nightmares constantly with this old lady. And when she sees this old lady for the first time in real life, she gets scared. She starts thinking, hey, maybe these legends are actually real. She and her friends will have to discover what this old lady wants, how this is related to Sweet Molly's legend, and what does Sweet Molly want? Because something bad is about to happen and they need to stop it. I honestly think this book is for readers who love small town legends, spooky atmosphere, and middle grade ghost stories. All right, friends, so that's it for today's 15 autumn book recommendations. I hope that you found a few new titles to add to your TBR, or maybe even a whole stock of books that you want to cozy up for this season. If you pick up any of these books, let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, friends. Stay cozy, stay spooky, and happy reading.